Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode, Downtime with Downstar, episode 107. And tonight we are sitting with Hollow. Hollow, what's up, brother?
What's going on? How are you?
Chilling, man. Thank you for coming. I appreciate it, dude.
No doubt.
You're a busy guy, bro.
Yeah. I'm always pretty busy, trying to stay busy, and I got work and family and always stuff going on, and life in general.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. So we set up this podcast maybe a week and a half ago.
Yeah.
And it's so weird, dude, because I haven't run into you in a minute. And then yesterday I messaged you on Instagram, hey, make sure everything's good for tomorrow, and I see you at the post office. It's fate, dog.
Yeah, because we were both probably working, so
yeah,
I'm dropping off packages.
I was dropping off packages too. Hell yeah, man. So for people that aren't familiar with you, can you just give us a quick rundown of who you are and what you do?
Everyone calls me Hollow. I'm a barber, entrepreneur. I own the Re-Up Barbershop in Oxnard, and I also own a aftershave company called Purps Aftershave, and I do a little bit of micropigmentation also.
And so micropigmentation, is that kind of like the tattoo thing to give you the line back?
A lot of people don't like to use the word tattoo, but
Good.
yeah, it's basically a hair tattoo to make it look like you have a hairline, or to feel density in your hair. So like if you have a bald spot, we do like a pattern in your hair to look like hair follicles.
Got you.
So some people they'll say, "Oh, I'm a tattoo artist, and I'll make your hair look good," and then they'll do it knowing the way that they do it is a different technique that we do, because we're just doing small little pigment dots, making it look like hair follicles, and they're gonna want to shade it and make it look like a block or full color.
So do they attack it more towards a tattoo side, and how hair is supposed to grow and what it looks like?
Yes, because they're gonna attack it trying to do it like more of fill and shade it in, instead of using the technique of you're just doing dots and doing irregular patterns, and they're gonna do something to try to make it nice, clean, but you're trying to make it look like controlled chaos.
Yeah.
So it's a big difference.
Got you, dude. That's dope, man. So how did you get into that? Is that like a new process that you just started doing?
Yeah, I just started doing it this year. And it's kind of hard to juggle both by because I cut hair and then I do the aftershave, but I'm starting to get more into it and doing it, and accepting more clients here and there. But I've heard about it years ago, and then I just started researching, and then back then it was a lot more expensive to do the schooling and stuff like that, so I never really pursued it. And then this year I started talking to some people on the internet, and just networking, do aftershave, and other barbers that started to do it, and I got a couple of people to train me for from different places, and I just went from there.
Dope, man. Seems like you're always on your hustle, dude.
Trying, man.
I think that's one thing that I've always admired you for, dude, because ever since I've known about you, you've always been the one on the hustle.
Same. I just remember, Downstar. I was seeing it everywhere, man. What's Downstar? And then I met Frank. I'm like, oh, okay, I see what Downstar is. And I just would see people with Hondas, and and I started seeing. I'm like, it was a dope idea, because no one was, everyone was into Hondas and into that scene, but no one was doing what you were doing, doing bolts and then making it stylish to have bolts on there, because people just thought of bolts as being boring.
Yeah, it was one of those things that people really didn't pay attention to.
Yeah,
I like to say it's that product that people didn't know that they wanted. And that's kind of like what every entrepreneur is looking for, but it's very rare. And to have been able to find something like that and to capitalize on it and to make it a business, it's super rewarding. But at the end of the day, it's very scary as well too, because it's not like I feel like I got kind of lucky with that product. It clicked to me, but I don't know why it didn't click to other people.
But that's what separates entrepreneurs from the regular person.
Yeah.
You have to think outside the box, and then you were probably thinking about it, and you were scared and like, oh, is it gonna fail? But to me, to be a successful entrepreneur, you can't be afraid to fail. Yeah, you have to take risks. I mean, I've tried all sorts of side businesses that failed. So that's like one of the biggest things, you know, that in my head when I'm thinking, you know, when I look at you and I'm like, oh man, you got something that works, you know, like everybody has to find their niche, and you found your niche. You know, every person doesn't just hit on the first thing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, you say you're lucky. Yeah, you probably are lucky, because there's a lot of people that fail, you know. And there's probably other ideas that you started, you know, after Downstar, and that they didn't work. You know?
Yeah. I think that maybe because I look at it that I haven't really failed as much as I've heard other entrepreneurs fail. Like, I haven't went down that really dark road of just being broke and, you know, top ramen and things like that. And then it just kind of makes me wonder if I could survive something like that, you know, if my entrepreneur skill was as strong to make it through that, because I was already, I didn't even start with any overhead, you know. It just like seemed to happen for me.
No, and that's the thing. Once you're an entrepreneur, you have the same survival skills. So you're like, okay, let me outsource this, or this gonna work, and you're always thinking. So, you know, if you have a failure, you always know that you can find something else to hustle to get back there. It may not be the same amount of money that you're working for, but you always have something to fall back on, because you already have a recipe that works.
Yeah.
You know, you can apply that to another business and something else, and it's gonna work. It may not be something that you like, or it's your passion, but hey, you know.
Yeah, get in where you fit in, dude. I always feel like that too. You know, I maybe I won't have another product or brand or something if I just stopped Downstar and went to do something else. I'm sure the road might be a little harder to maneuver down, but I don't think I'll ever get to the point where I'm, you know, struggling, because if I got to go work at McDonald's every day, I'm going to look for something else that I can do to get to that next position. Okay, right now, who am I answering to? What does that dude do? I'm going to do everything that dude does better, so I could get his position.
Well, see, that's my thing. Like, that's what separates the entrepreneur, and not being the regular person that's comfortable working the 9 to 5. If that other person's like, I'm comfortable, I'm working the 9 to 5 just to get the money, you're using your 9 to 5 to fund other things to make it bigger. So you're not looking at it as a thing you're going to stay there forever.
Yeah.
You're just using it as a vessel to fund something that you really want to do.
Yeah.
And that's already the entrepreneur mindset.
Yeah. So where did you find that your entrepreneur mindset came from, and how early on did you notice it?
To be honest, probably selling drugs.
Yeah.
Selling drugs. And I got, selling drugs, it was an easy hustle, and I did that. And, once I got caught up, I did my time in jail. Then I'm like, hey, I'm sitting in here for a year. Things aren't going to be as easy as it was when I get out. I'm not going to be able to have a good job. So, I started, that's when I thought of like, hey, maybe do something else that doesn't require like a background check, or, or if I can't go back to selling drugs because they're going to be watching me, So
yeah,
I was like, I started cutting hair when I was in jail a little bit, and I'm like, hey, maybe it'd be something to do that I don't have to get a background check to cut hair. So when I started cutting, and then I made a plan. I'm like, hey, let me just go when I get out, and let me go to school and try this out. So, I made a plan, and I stuck to it,
No way, dude. When was this?
This was 2009, I believe. 2009. Gotcha. So yeah. So and it was like a big change into my life, getting out of jail, and then like probably maybe 3-4 months later, I met my wife now, and then getting in barber school. So like I had just met she wasn't my wife then, but I just met her, and then we I kind of told her like, hey, I was always, I always had money, or, I always had something or a hustle or whatever. I got out of jail, but, I didn't want to go back. So I kind of just talked to her, and, I kind of used her as my crutch to stay out of trouble and, keep me on track. So my focus was just on her and cutting hair.
Hell yeah.
So that helped. So she helped me get through, what I needed to get through and stay focused to get where I'm at now.
How'd you know that she was the one? What made her different than any other girl?
She was understanding and all for it. She's like, hey, if that's your plan, and supportive. So then I said, she kind of showed the qualities of me, spending the time with her, because she was willing to spend the time with me, so she's it's kind of like if you didn't have anything then, you know, when I had something before, she's gonna treat me the same way because you see me at my low point.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't necessarily saying like I was really low, but I'm not where I was at today.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All I was, you know, I had a little bit of money here, and all I had was a little bit of money in a plan. You know, so.
Damn, man, I didn't even know that, dude. Let's dive a little more into your early life. Where did you grow up, and what was that like?
Grew up in South Oxnard. Early life, I was, you know, into sports, and then, you know, I had I would say, I was, you know, my mom and dad worked a lot. My dad was, you know, kind of like the first entrepreneur I seen. My mom was always about like strict and, you know, with money. And then my dad opened up a laundromat.
Oh, sick.
So my dad opened up a laundromat like, I would say it was on the south side of town. I guess that's the south side of town. And I think that's where I picked up my work ethic from him and being there, because I remember as a kid I used to hate going to the laundromat. My dad on Fridays and Saturdays, you know, back in the day, everyone used to watch, I think it was like Snick at Night.
Yeah.
So I would like pissed off because I couldn't watch Snick at Night. I had to go with my dad to close the laundromat like at 9 or 10 o'clock, and I wanted to go stay in and watch cartoons.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's cleaning and stuff like that. You know, we're in our pajamas, just, you know, chilling, you know, trying to be regular kids, want to go watch cartoons and shit, and I'm over there cleaning and, you know, hating it, you know, and that kind of like, I think that instilled into me of how I am now, working weekends and stuff like that, because it was just kind of like, you know, normal for me, you know, and you know, then he ended up losing the laundromat, and then, you know, working his, you know, he had a 9-to-5 plus a laundromat, so he was doing double time, you know.
Yeah.
So he ended up losing the laundromat and stuff like that, and I had more time on my hands, and I was like into basketball. I stopped playing basketball, and I seen a kid skateboarding, and that's when it kind of like my life just changed, you know, from there. So skateboarding, I fell in love with skateboarding. I remember probably the first video that like really changed my life, got me into like hip hop and all that stuff, was Fulfill the Dream.
Oh, shit. I'm looking for that one for my collection right now. If anybody has it and wants to send it over, let me know, please. I would appreciate it.
So if anybody is like, if anybody is getting into skateboarding and, you know, and likes hip hop, Fulfill the Dream is like a staple for all people, like for skateboarding. Like it's a classic, you know, like you have to watch that you know, that skate video, you know. So I just remember, you know, Brandon Turner and Chad Muska and Peter Smolik, and I just remember Muska with the, you know, the big you know, boom box and making his own beats. So like I was like, what the fuck is that? You know, I'm like, I had no idea, you know. I'm just listening to stuff on the radio, and there's, you know, they were playing like Gangstar and, you know, real hip hop, and they were skateboarding, and you know, back then it was always like a stereotype, like if you're skateboarding you just have to listen to rock and roll, and that, you know. But they flipped the whole script, and they made skateboarding cool for hip hop, you know, and that's what like turned me, and I'm like, dang, like I could do that, you know. So it appealed to me, and, you know, I used to watch that video and try to imitate them. I used to try to get a boom box like big like Muska, and I wanted the Muska shoes, and I wanted to be, you know, like them, you know. And I was skating for a while, and then you know, I wasn't as good as I wanted to be, you know. I was okay, but, you know, there were some things I wouldn't do, you know. I was scared to, you know, go off of certain stairs, or, you know, I had my limit to skateboarding, and then I see like my other guys, you know, turn, you know, amateur and pro, and, you know, I kind of just, you know, did it for fun, and I kind of steered off from that. And then I got into like graffiti, and, you know, I started getting heavy into smoking weed and doing other stuff, and, you know, that's what led into me, you know, drug dealing and graffiti and stuff.
So before we move away from skateboarding, I'm not sure the age difference. How old are you?
I'll be 32 this year.
32. Okay. So were you skating? Which part? Who were you skating with at that time? Because I was skating. What year was this first?
So I was probably junior high. So I was skating with, like, back then we were called like the Lost Boys.
Okay.
So we were like all the college estates. So, you know, we would go like to Fifth and Gravel. Too,
yeah.
like,
hell, did you ever go to the church?
The church.
No shit. Really?
Yeah, so you know, but our spot was like the behind CI, the college estates. That's where, you know, our stuff was, you know. So if we traveled, you know, we would go to Fifth and Gravel, or we would go behind Ralph's, and I think it was Ralph's that time, and all the skate spots, the Pink 4,
Hughes.
Yeah.
Hughes, where it had the alley right there.
One,
no shit, dude.
So
we had to have run into each other.
Yeah, because all I remember like a lot of those guys from Fifth and Gravel and all those guys. So,
yeah.
You know, I still, you know, you see, I was always like, my thing was for my age group, we were a little bit better than the guys that were my age. So we hung out with all the older people. Yeah. You know, so they took us under the wing because we were better at skateboarding. They said, hey, you're good. You can hang with us. So, you know, so my people that was our age, we didn't hang out with. I always hung out with older people. And it's been like that forever. Yeah. I always gravitated towards older people for some reason. I never like really hung out with people my age. Yeah. You know. I
remember Sal was the man back then, dude.
Sal. So Sal, I used to skate with Sal.
Did you?
You know, Sal, Scout. I mean, I always used to look up to Sal. I remember Canadian James. Yeah, all those guys, and yeah, that was like my group, and I wanted to be like them. You know. So
you know what? Did you ever see that movie Mid-90s?
Yeah,
that shit reminded me of my entire childhood, right there. You know, just skating at the church. That was Mo's house right there.
Yeah.
So all the boxes and stuff would be at Mo's house.
And then I ended up like later down the year, like I ended up working with Mo as a barber. So So you know, it's crazy how stuff like works out.
Yeah. No, definitely, dude. That's tight, man. I always say it's like no matter where you come from, skateboarding is more than likely a part of your history somehow. You know, even in the car industry and a lot of people that I've met, dude. Yeah. And that's so tight, dude. So you realized that you had a passion for skateboarding, but then it wasn't going.
Yeah, it was a passion.
It was just fun, just a fun hobby.
Yeah, and you know, of course, when I was that young, I'm like, man, these guys are turning pro or amateur. I want to do that, and I realized I wasn't as good as them. So you know, as the older I got, reality sunk in. I'm like, hey, you know, I can't skate like them. I'm not going to get paid off of it because, you know, it's like, it's almost like you're good at basketball, but you want to join the NBA. Like, what are the chances of being doing that?
Yeah.
You know? So I just, you know, skated here and there and after. So I think for like a 4-year period, I skated really hard, and then I strayed away, like little by little, you know, skate, you know, use it for transportation and just here and there. I wasn't skating every day like I used to. And then slowly I got out of it.
So then you started, did you start going to parties and stuff?
Partying and smoking, and you know, it was because it was through the whole junior high into like freshman year, and then like after, you know, freshman year, you know, I kind of like started going to parties, and you know, didn't have time for skateboarding like I used to.
Yeah. And what school were you going to at this time?
I was going to Channel Islands.
Okay, got you. So I'm like kind of interested about that path that you went down, dude. I don't know if you want to dive into it a little bit, man.
I mean, it's your podcast.
So it always intrigues me, like that life, and then coming to that realization when you're like locked up. Mm-hmm. So can you touch on that a little bit about what led you down getting locked up and what you realized when you were in there?
Yeah,
I mean, you don't have to go super into detail.
Yeah, I was at that time I started making music and doing stuff like that, and you know, I got laid off of my job, and I was getting a little bit of unemployment, so I was, you know, hustling, selling CDs and stuff like that, and I was always into smoking weed and doing stuff. So like a lot of my friends are doing the same thing, so I've always been, you know, kind of like a hustler. So I was selling weed, selling whatever I could, you know, and you know, making ends meet. And one night I just got careless and I got pulled over, and it was it.
That was it?
That was it.
No way.
I was drinking, and I had a friend drive me home. I slept at his house for a couple hours and drove my car back to, like, you know, it was like 3:00 in the morning. I'm driving my car, and then, you know, he was, I guess he ended up drinking. He failed to tell me that I didn't have any gas, so I'm driving slow on the freeway. So I get pulled over for driving too slow.
Oh,
so
no
you know,
way.
I got pulled over. One thing led into another, and boom, you know, I'm doing, you know, I'm fighting a case for like 4 or 5 years, and you know, I end up signing for 1 year. So,
wow, that's intense, man.
Yeah,
I mean, for you to be at the position that you're at right now is just like.
Well, I mean that's, you know, I think you have to. You can't appreciate the top if you haven't hit the bottom, you know?
Yeah.
You're never going to appreciate the top because if you just like, oh, I just got there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I've been to the bottom, so that's why you keep striving and striving. That's why a lot of successful entrepreneurs are people who never had anything.
Yeah.
You know, so it's because they had to work and grind to get up there, you know? So it's not like they just fall into money, you know?
Yeah. So before we move on to when you started your barber career, did you also have a part in Dope Style?
Yeah, I did.
So let's go ahead and talk about that a little bit, dude, because I had a buzz around the city.
Yeah, Dope Style was so you know, I was making music at the time, and I had a good friend Tio, and I was always into clothes too. Like when I got out of skateboarding, I was into streetwear. So I was into before Supreme got big, I was into like a lot of the brands, you know, like the Hundreds and 10 Deep and all those big brands. So and the sneaker community, I was always into shoes. Like even when I stopped skateboarding, like Nike came out with SB, you know. So like when I stopped, when I stopped, that's when Nike came out with SB. So I was still into skateboarding shoes. So when they came out with SBs, it was kind of like a crossover between streetwear and skateboarding.
Yeah.
So I got really into SBs, and I started realizing, hey, if I get this release for $80, it's a limited pair. It's going to turn into $300. You know, so we started, I started camping out for sneakers and buying sneakers here and there. You know, I worked a little part-time job just to get sneakers, you know. So, you know, when with sneakers becomes, oh, let me get a shirt. So then you get into streetwear. So, you know, one of my buddies, Tio, him and his brother came up with Dope Style. So they were starting and you know, the first couple of shirts were whack, and they were like, hey, you know, you're kind of building a buzz in you know, Ventura County, as you know, music and stuff like that. Wear the shirts, and I wore the first shirt, but I didn't do it to like one of my big shows because it was kind of like, it was cheesy. Yeah. So you know, he started coming out with a little bit better stuff, and he got better. I started getting better, and then he was like, hey, you know, you want to be in part of, you know, the company. So, you know, I started, whenever they will make a t-shirt run, sometimes I'll buy a couple for myself. You know, instead of me like just getting free shirts, I'll give them some money when they're printing the shirts. So I'll sell my own, and then I became, you know, more of a brand ambassador of the company, you know. So we started getting bigger, and we built a pretty good buzz. We did a skate documentary. We did a bunch of skate videos.
No shit.
Yeah. So I mean, we were doing a lot of, you know, good stuff. We went to Magic. We 1 year, and you know, and that kind of blew my mind. And we're like, man, we need to get bigger. So me and him went in. We got our money together and got a screen print machine. So. We went to the Magic, and we were looking, and you know, the guys just banging out shirts. And I'm like, man, you know, this is gonna cut our costs. You know, thinking of an entrepreneur, we're paying this guy to print these T-shirts if we get the machine ourselves. So I think you know, I put a little bit of money in. I think it was a whole setup. You know, it was, I think, almost like $5,000. You know? Okay. He put up the bigger portion. I put up like the supplies. I can't remember exactly how much money I put up because it was a long time ago, but. So next thing you know, I rent a U-Haul, and I'm driving all the way to like El Segundo, picking up all the stuff, and I'm throwing it all in my garage, and we're setting up in the garage. You know, I'm watching DVDs on how to try to print and screen print shirts, and you know. So I go down to the alleys, and I buy a bunch of shirts. I go to the, you know, garment district, buy a bunch of blank shirts, and next thing you know, I'm plugging up 500 shirts. No shit. I just couldn't learn how the technique to get the shirts. I'm doing it crooked, and I just couldn't get it, you know. So like, you know, we had all this equipment in the garage, and we still ended up outsourcing because we couldn't get the technique. No way. Yeah, so you know, that was a disaster, and you know, so you know, I had the stuff. I ended up getting it out of my garage. He put it in, you know, storage, and you know, we had a bunch of trial and error, and you know, we started getting bigger and bigger. So orders started coming in, and then next thing, the thing that messed us up was Dope Couture came out. Okay. So we were young, so we had a little bit of money, like not like a lot of money, you know, to compete with somebody. They go on Melrose with the same stuff, and they have the name Dope, and you know, our stuff is ASCAP, and it's not trademark everything, you know. So they go with Dope, and they start printing out shirts, and people are like buying shirts, you know, saying like, oh yeah, I bought a Dope Style shirt. And we look, and no, that's not a Dope Style shirt. So that fucked us all up, you know, and they're on Melrose, and then getting bigger and bigger, and they just kind of blew us out the water because we didn't keep up the momentum, and they had more money to invest and market and do all that stuff. And some people were supporting them thinking they were us, and it was just confusing. So I mean, he kept trying to keep it going, and he wanted me to, you know, keep it going. But I just saw it having like, I don't know, like there was no, we were done. I felt like
I feel you.
It was done. You know, it's like someone came out with, you know,
Upstar.
Yeah, Upstar, and they had you know, $1 million worth to invest, and you're just a small company, and they go on and one of the biggest streets in LA and open up a store, you know, and everyone's confused of which one is it, you know, which one am I supporting, Downstar or this, you know, and it just fucked us all up.
So did you have dealers, like shops selling your guys' stuff?
Yeah, so we probably had at the time, I think we had up to like maybe 15 to 17 stores around. Like it was, you know, they weren't like super big. So like our niche was, you know, the thing that we started doing sneakers and stuff, and then our niche that kind of turned is we started hitting skate shops. So, you know, we were in White Sands, 5 Points, and we were in a couple like places in Long Beach and, you know, other places in California and San Diego. So, you know, sometimes I would drive and try to get accounts, and you know, if they're like, oh, we don't know about having this, so, you know, sometimes hey, sign consignment, we'll do a consignment, you know. So we started doing consignment and just trying to, you know, be out there. So, you know, it was going good for a while, you know, like we weren't making money, like surviving, but it was good enough. Like it gave us a buzz, and it gave us a good feeling that we were like, people were wearing our shit everywhere, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, it was, you know, at the time it felt really good, but you know, when Dope Couture came out and just like shitted on us, it was deflating. So
did you guys ever have any run-ins with them or know the owners or anything? Or
no, I didn't. I just kind of left it alone. I was still doing my music thing too, so I was like focused on music, and you know, he was more of, you know, into the streetwear, you know, scene still. You know, I was just still, I would wear, you know, the dope style, and I was invested into like getting stuff and selling stuff and doing stuff like that too. But I also have my own, you know, career too. And that's what he had. And then he ended up opening up a store, like a streetwear store too. And it was down the street from one of places we had, you know, who was ordering shirts from us.
Oh shit.
So it was a conflict of interest, and you know, a lot of bad stuff started happening to the store and stuff too. People were breaking in and stealing stuff from the store. So, you know, it ended up, you know, being bad business for, you know.
Yeah. In hindsight, looking back at everything, what would you have done differently for the whole situation?
Probably went more all in.
Yeah.
More all in. Probably maybe when Dope Couture maybe came, I think we could have changed the name a little bit, or changed it, you know, like I mean, we were young at that time, so you got to think I'm 19, 20.
Damn.
No, 18, 19, 20, those were the years. So I didn't know anything about business.
Yeah.
He didn't, you know, he didn't know like everything also. So like it was just a learning experience. So
dude, that's dope for you guys just to even take that risk at that young, you know. When I'm 18, 19, 20, I'm just working at Best Buy and fucking with cars, and that's it, you know. Damn, dude.
So it was scary, you know, and like you know, looking back, I'm like, fuck, I thought I was doing everything, and I thought I was doing everything, you know, right. And then like in hindsight, you know, I wish, I'm like, fuck, if I wish what I know now, like if I would have done, you know, the things I done back then, I would have killed the game, you know. But you know, the time has passed, you know.
Yeah, it was like it wasn't that long ago. I was looking at old pictures, and I seen like some dope style shirts that I had, and I'm like,
yeah,
that's I still sick, bro.
I go to the thrift store and I see some stuff over
really
there. People are selling it, or like, you know, asking me, oh, do you still have some shirts? I'm like, man, that's 10 years ago. I don't even have any shirts to give you, no. So, you know. So
what about bringing it back?
I mean, Dope Couture went out of business. I think, I mean, they're still up, but like they don't have the buzz as what they had. But I don't want to get into streetwear anymore. Like, it's you see so many brands come and go. What brand have you seen that's just been there for so long? And and has longevity.
Just the main ones and shit, and that's it.
The only way, like, if people want to say Supreme, the only way Supreme stayed in business is because they strayed out of streetwear. They were making T-shirts. This was a skateboard company. Mm-hmm. Then they started making T-shirts, and the only reason they stayed in business is because they started thinking out the box and they started doing collabs. You know what I'm saying? So they did a collab with the weirdest shit, and people got fascinated with that. You know, it's not even, you can't even sit there and think like, oh, they're just selling shirts. They're selling crazy tennis balls, anything you could think of, water guns, like bouncing balls, because, you know, they thought outside of the box. You know, so
it seems like that's what all the streetwear companies are doing now. Because
you can't just rely on one thing. You know, everybody has a T-shirt and a design. It's just pretty hard to just come out, because how are you going to sit there and say like your design is better than somebody else's?
Yeah,
it's just opinion. Like a lot of people, everything like when people talk about you know, football and sports, and you know, there's like the Golden State Warriors, like for example, now everybody wants to shoot threes like Steph Curry, right? Because it's a copycat league. The same thing with streetwear. Everyone has the same type of design, you know, and they just copy it and flow whatever's hot. And then whenever the next thing's hot, they jump on
to that. Yeah,
that's it. You know, like Supreme was always like, oh, I'm just gonna brand my simple thing. It's so basic. But back in the day, everybody wanted crazy shirts. Now everybody wants to be basic, because basic sells. Like, more people want to have something with just a logo. Mm-hmm. They're proud to see a logo. If you have how many shirts now do you see that are people wearing with crazy designs? They don't. They just want to see a logo. Yeah. Branding is everything. You know, they just want you to walk around and see, oh, I'm wearing this. They don't want to have for you to figure it out, you know? Yeah. And I'm conditioned like that. I don't like stuff with a bunch of stuff on there. I just like something simple, plain and simple. Like, hey, I'm wearing this. That's it. You know, I don't want you like, oh, what kind of shirt is that? Like, you know, with stuff.
So you want it to be known about what tribe you're part of?
Basically, that's how it is. You know? What is it? Think about a gang member, like what they're so proud to wear, what their colors and where they're from. Mm-hmm. Same thing about your team. You want to wear your team. So why get something and make a distraction?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that, dude. It's I mean, it's really crazy, dude, watching the streetwear stuff, because I'm still pretty big into it, just like an observant, like I admire all those dudes because I seen their hustle, where they came from, and how they managed to keep going. But then I see like Lucky Charms and Hundreds collabo, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on, dude?
But that's what's going on. They can't stay in business doing the same thing. You have to innovate. Like, you have to do weird shit to stay in business.
Do you think that's the right way to innovate? Just to team up with some brands that aren't even part of the culture at all, just to...
Yeah, because you need to bring in a different audience. You know, how are you gonna? You can't survive off the selling to the same people every single time. Yeah, you can't. There's no way. Just like, you know, like if like, you know, if you're into, you know, just like if people are like, hey Frank, like, you only make parts for Hondas. You probably hear that a lot, you know? And then you're like, fuck, maybe I need to do this, because you can't. You know, the more people say like, I like Frank's shit, but like, I don't have a Honda. Yeah, I got a Subi, or I got a BMW. Like, what? Like, why doesn't he make these type of parts? Yeah. You know? Why are you just catering to this niche? So that's what happens. You know, like people that are into Hundreds, or these type of brands, they know they can't survive just off the same people all the time. And you have to understand too. Hundreds, like, I'm just using them as an example, right? Yeah. They've been around forever, right? So if you like that brand, are you gonna wear that brand for 10 years? So if you're just gonna cater to those people, these people are gonna get older. Yeah. And they're gonna outgrow you. Yeah, so, definitely. So what happens? You have to get new people. Yeah. Just the same person. Like, for example, I was into Hondas when I was 18, 19. I got out of Hondas. I grew out of it. Yeah. So if that person grows out of it, you just lost a customer. So you have to evolve and keep going with these things that you're doing for as a business, because you're never going to grow. You have to allow changing and growing, because the world changes. You have to adapt. You know, just like McDonald's. McDonald's has the same logo, and they use that, and they brainwash you to get these things, but they change little things up here and there just to make it relevant. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they do. They have to change little things here and there just to stay relevant, but they still have their solid base. You know, the Big Mac is always there, because it's a staple. But let me throw in the seasonal thing. or let me throw in chicken for here. Let me bring back the McRib, because you have to keep your people interested. You can't just you can't survive off the Big Mac. Not everybody's gonna like the Big Mac, or I used to like the double cheeseburger. Then 10 years later, I like the Big Mac. Or you outgrow things, so you can't expect people to buy your things forever. You have to evolve.
Yeah.
Everybody's evolving, and that's even the craziest entrepreneurs are they get a product, and then next thing you know, they hire other people because you run out of ideas. You have to innovate. Like, you can't just think and you're the mastermind. Like Apple, they have people like Steve Jobs, and they're not running that stuff anymore. They have other people running it. A bunch of minds thinking of what to do next, because you can't just rely on your mind if you want to grow. Yeah. Because you're only going to be like thinking of one thing. You need to spread out, and then always have your base. You can always have your logo and always have your stuff, but just remember what your bread and butter is. But you need to keep people interested.
I feel you on that, dude. Definitely, man. And I think that's one of the reasons why we wanted to do the this podcast and the skate brand, and focus a little more on apparel and things like that. It's just because I don't want people just to see Downstar as just a company that sells bolts. Yeah. I don't want that to even just be the highlight, dude. The bolt is like the product of the story, of the grind, of the hustle. Yeah. It's like taking nothing and making something. That's what I want Downstar to represent, rather than just like bolts.
Yeah, you want it to be bigger than bolts.
Yeah, no, definitely, man. And the podcast is helping out a lot, because I'm getting to speak to people that aren't even into cars. Yeah. Or people that are listening that aren't even into cars, and it's just getting me a whole different audience. Yeah. And just being able to network with different people, and it just gets those creative juices flowing,
And then when you asked me to be on the podcast, I've started seeing it before, like when you were posting stuff, because I follow you and I see different stuff going on. So when you asked me about it, the first thing I did was look, and I'm like, oh, he's not even talking about cars. Yeah. So what is this about? And then I started seeing the skate. So to me, thinking, I'm like, okay, now he has Downstar is basically his his bread and butter, but he doesn't want to just be known for that. I think he wants to do other things, and just don't want, like, you're more than what you are.
No, definitely, man. 100%, dude. And it's so hard to show that with just that being our only thing, just focused around cars. There's no way really of me being able to show my true personality, my true interest, without a platform like this, unless somebody were to ask me. Yeah. And just like we talked about before, this is your first podcast you've ever done. Mm-hmm. So if somebody wants to find out any information or whatever about you, they're gonna have to like search. You know what I mean? But to have this podcast, this is going to be like a good look into who you are. Yeah. So I always tell people, if you want to know who I am as a person, there's hundreds of hours if you can hear my opinions, my point of view on things, and the way that I think about things. And I feel that this is going to open up a lot more doors for me, rather than just doing car stuff.
Yeah, because you don't know how big your podcast can get. Yeah. All it takes is one interview, and boom, it's just like someone starts looking, and hey, like, I'm gonna start listening to this guy. He has interesting interviews. So it's like, you don't know where things are gonna take you, and it just like, being an entrepreneur is a risk. This is a risk too. You could be like, hey, I'm gonna do these podcasts, and if it does good, it does good. If it does bad, it does bad. But you're not gonna quit. You're just gonna find the next thing. Yeah. But you're not gonna rely on it, because you always go back to selling bolts. That's your bread and butter. Yeah. Your bread and butter is always going to be your staple for you to do other things. You're always going to go like this, but you can steer off, because you always have that. Like, that's not going to hurt you. Yeah. If this podcast doesn't do good, it's not going to hurt you. If the skate thing doesn't do good, it doesn't hurt you, because you're always staying true to selling bolts, because that's your bread and butter. Yeah. And that's how I feel like a good entrepreneur has that. So like, I'm never going to like say like, oh, I'm completely done with cutting hair and if my other things don't work, I'm always gonna have that, So I use that as my backbone, and I try to do other stuff, And they may fail, I may not have the time for it, but it's a part of being an entrepreneur. Like, you have to take your losses, your bumps and bruises. You go on there. Like, not every idea is gonna hit. Like, I've had so many failures.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of those. What are some things that you wanted to do, but it kind of just didn't work out?
So it was maybe a couple years ago. I had thought of an idea to come out with the app. So I was gonna do an app, but for barbers. So like everybody has like, so me and the barbers, different barbers. I network with different barbers, and everyone's buying modified stuff or painted stuff.
Yeah.
So they go on eBay, or they're hitting people up and sell it. So I wanted a platform to sell whatever you want that's barber related on an app. So you on Amazon, you can't, everything you have to buy on there is new. You can't buy modified stuff.
Got you.
So unless unless you're a company and it's approved. So I was gonna create a platform for barbers to sell painted clippers or modified blades or anything barber related, and you can go and bid and trade on it. So my thing was gonna be, I was gonna be the middleman and I take a cut from it. So I worked on the app. I found a company, and they said they'll get it done like in probably like 4 months. 5 months goes past, and they send me a sample, and it's starting to look good, and I'm like, all right, but it's still taking too long. And then I told them my terms, and they're like, oh, we can't integrate this or that. 9 months comes, and they're still they're not answering as much, and so it became out like a fraud company. So I had to get my money back, and it was just like it was kind of deflating because I was so into it, doing that, and I was like, I had all these ideas, I was coming home, talking to my wife about it, and I'm like, man, and I was thinking, this is this gonna be my big break, or like just that one idea that's gonna hit, and it's basically like an idea like Uber. Like I don't have to do anything. People are just gonna sell and do stuff on there, and I feel like every idea and like every idea has its own time. So if you don't create that idea and that amount of at a time, someone else is going to come up with the idea and did it, and there was another company that ended up doing it later, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
What did it look like?
I didn't even get into it because I was so disappointed. I didn't want to even. I was on to the next thing. So like when I got the money back from that, I just put it and I made an aftershave company. So
is that still going now?
Yeah, that's when I have Purps Aftershave. It's just an aftershave, like kind of like for barbers and stuff like that. So I made I got a logo and stuff like that done, and I go through like a company, they make the aftershave, and I get the scent. So mine's it's called Purps, so it's purple and it has a grape scent. I'm the only one on the market that has a grape scent aftershave.
Nice.
So some people like it, some people hate it because they don't like the fruity smell, or some people love it. So it's either one, but my niche is just for people who love it. Like I don't want to fit in. So if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. So
yeah. So how's that been going?
It's going good. It's just hard to juggle doing a bunch of stuff. That's why I ran into you at the post office.
Yeah.
So,
you were shipping stuff out?
Shipping stuff out. So, I do everything myself. So, I mean, it's I'm packed, I don't make, the actual aftershave go through a company. They have the form down, I tell them the formula and they get it done. But, I'm bottling it, packaging it, and shipping it. My wife helps me sometimes, and sometimes I get my son into it, and
nice.
Sometimes cousins, they'll bottle stuff for me, but it's just pretty much that's it, just me and the family.
So are you buying the actual solution and then putting it in the bottle yourself?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I buy the solution in gallons. I don't want to say my whole process.
No, it's all good. Yeah.
But, just like how you source, you outsource. So I get it. I don't have a chemical lab, I'm like, and to me, with alcohol and stuff like that, you have to get it approved. So you got to go through a person that that does in bulk and has all the right licenses. So I didn't want to go and make something myself, and then something happens and people start itching and scratching.
Yeah,
and,
no,
I'm
definitely.
gonna sue you. Like, hey, no, I got it from this company. It's a proven formula, and this is how I get it done. So I got that going, and I have it. It's going good. Sometimes I there's weeks where I'm like, oh, I don't have enough orders, and sometimes I have too much orders. So trying to find balance and getting that. But I mean, I've only had it for like a year and a half, so. To me, it's going pretty good. It could be a lot bigger if I put more time in it, but I've dabbled in so many things, and I have like my own personal life and my family. It's like it's hard to just put all your attention into that and finding a balance. So I know you know how it is, you know,
yeah,
being married and with kids and finding the balance between that and work, you know.
So when did you realize that there was a home life balance and you needed to work on it? How early on was it, or late?
Maybe I would say when I bought my barbershop, so maybe like 5 years ago, because I was working a lot when I worked for other people. But, you know, now it's like when you have your own business, you got to put in the effort. Like I can't sit there and be lazy and own a business, you know, so you always have that mentality. And then I see the potential, and sometimes I get too into it, and you know, it's hard to find the balance, you know, like a lot of people struggle with it. Like it's you know, it's just life, you know. So there's times like, you know, where I have clients and I get annoyed and they tell me, oh my gosh, you're just so you have your own company, you're so lucky, I'm stuck at my job and this and that. And then I ask them, oh, do you have kids? Are you singles? What's stopping you?
Yeah.
What's stopping you from doing that? Like I have my kids, my family, I have so much stuff to worry about and find a balance, and you're sitting here telling me I wish. Like, what's stopping you from going to get that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it's not easy. I struggle every day trying to find a balance, you know. I'm not perfect. Like, you know, I mess up in both, like giving attention. Sometimes I put too much attention to my business, and you know, your relationship can suffer, you know. Like it's hard, you know. And it's like, but you know, as being an entrepreneur, it's like I'm so focused, and I try to focus on doing that, and I'm always thinking about the next, and sometimes I don't enjoy the here and the now.
Okay, everybody, we're going to take a quick break for our sponsors, and we'll be back in 1 minute. Yo, what's up, fool? Make sure you check out Downstar for all of your dress-up needs. Get it poppin' over here. We have all the kits for the K series, the B series, the transmission, the mounts, the engine, the Toro, baby. We have the hardware for the seats, for the stereo. We got it for the speakers. We got it for the lug nuts. We got it for the air valves. We got it for everything, dog. So you make sure you hit us up at downstarinc.com, or you call us up, fool. You can even text us, lame, 818-937-3472. Just shoot us a text and tell us what's up, dog. I need some fucking balls in this bitch. Hit us up, downstaring.com. Hey, and if you got an Instagram, slide in our fucking DM at Downstar. Wait, hit up the homie, Frank_Downstar. He's the one that takes care of all the DMs. Hit that level up and shoot him a message, and he'll get you all taken care of real nicely. Damn, bro, you're fucking speaking my language right now, dude. That's so crazy, bro, because it's like only certain entrepreneurs will know exactly what you just said and know what you mean. Because I feel like there's other people that kind of play entrepreneur, and their whole focus is just like money, 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 and, you know, yachts and girls and cars and shit like that. But that's not like reality, dude. Reality is just what you said, you know. It's just trying to figure this shit out, trying to make everybody happy, and trying to be happy yourself, but like your happiness is delayed because you're making everybody else happy. Exactly. Or you got to keep the business running.
It's like, that's the thing. Like you got to keep everybody else happy in the business. You got to keep, you know, you got to go back to your family, make sure they're happy, and then you're struggling, you know, because you're trying to succeed, but are you happy at the end? Yeah, because it's like you're just striving and striving and striving, but you haven't achieved what you wanted to achieve, and you have all these goals and dreams, and you know, you're like, oh yeah, I got this, I got the car, I got this, but like I'm not there yet. Yeah. And then you have your family, and then you're like, you know, you want so much more for your family, you want so much more for yourself, and you have all these ideas and potential, but you have so little time and so little, not all the money and resources you need to accomplish them, and that's the everyday struggle, and you don't have all you don't have all the time to sit there and spend with your family, you know. So that's the thing where I'm talking about, we're trying to find balance. So it's like you're always trying to find a perfect idea where you could, you know, hey, if I hit on this idea, I'll have more time and stuff like that. You know, I wouldn't have to be working 60 hours or 70 hours in this thing. I could spend 30 and micromanage. You know, that's always like been my thing. You know, and I'm striving for it, you know, and that's the hard part of finding the balance, you know. Yeah. I mean, and you know, I talk to people all day, and you know, people just don't understand. They just think they like, hey Frank, you drive this car, you know. I'm not gonna say what car you have, you know, but you're so lucky. But do they know what it took to get the car? Are they willing? They probably work 40 hours a week, and oh man, I hate my job. I'm, you know, and then the boss asks, you want to work overtime? No, I'm going home.
Yeah.
What the fuck? You're complaining this guy has his car, but you don't want to take the necessary steps to get what you want. But you just want to sit there and say like, this person's so lucky, but you don't want to you don't want to put in the work. You don't know that Frank probably spent 80 hours this week and you only spent 40.
Yeah.
That's the difference. That's the big difference. They see, but they don't want to put in the work. You know, I work 60, 65 to 70 hours a week, every week. You know, and then I try to find balance with my family, and then, you know, pay bills, and then, you know, run the shop, and you know, think of ideas, and it's just going constantly. My mind is like a computer sometimes. You know, I'm just keep going, like, you know, sometimes I can't sleep at night because I thought of an idea, and then I'm like, fuck, well, I need to think of, you know, how I can put it into action, and it just keeps going. Like sometimes I drive myself crazy because I have all these ideas, because once you're an entrepreneur, you're an entrepreneur. It just keeps going and going and going and going. Like you can't stop.
Bro, it's crazy, man. You're saying everything that I feel, dude.
Because I mean, being an entrepreneur, like a lot of people, they think, you know, you're different, but you're not. You think you think the same. You may not have the same ideas, but you have ideas, and they drive you crazy because you want to accomplish so much. You did this, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm doing good, but I could do better. Like, but you're not happy because, you know, there's something else you could keep reaching. It's like a game. It's like you keep chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing.
Yeah.
You know, it's because you did this already. So what's next? You know. You don't want to plateau and just be okay, because if you're comfortable, you're no better than the person that works 40 hours a week and just goes home and then and doesn't work on himself. Like, how are you supposed to move up in life if you're just comfortable?
Yeah, you
can't. You're just gonna keep wanting stuff you can't have. But if you can create a plan to want the things you have, why not go for it? You know, like. That's the hard part, you know, like finding the balance and trying to tell yourself, okay, you know, appreciate what you have, or it's just hard, you know, because I don't want to say, to me, it's almost like a sickness, you know, being an entrepreneur, because it's just like you have a drive, but the drive drives you crazy. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, I don't think people who aren't entrepreneurs really understand that. You know, it's so easy to look at our lives from the outside looking in and just to wish like, damn, I had that. And I'm just like, you can have it, bro. I'll give you even the tools to get here, the things that I've learned, the lessons that I've learned.
Yeah.
It's hundreds of hours on this podcast of lessons that I've learned and ways that I've maneuvered around it.
Yeah.
But it's just, people don't want to put in that work.
They don't.
And knowing how valuable time is, I realize that if I devote this time to something could come out of it. So it kind of makes me look at time like, if I'm not doing something with my time, I feel guilty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's not right, dude. Like sometimes I would like to just kick it and just chill at home with my family, but then my brain's thinking something else.
Yeah.
My brain's like, well, while you're right here not doing shit, you could be doing this or you could be doing that. And that's not fair to my family, because I'm supposed to be spending time with them.
Yeah.
So I'm just like at an internal conflict all the time, you know, trying to figure out something to do and just trying to keep the machine running. You know, we just finished this past weekend. We had our 4th annual meet here at the shop.
Yeah.
So this whole week I've just been stressed up coming up to the meet and just thinking like, fuck, my idea of it is I hope people come.
Yeah.
And if you look at it from the outside looking in, like, what do you mean people are going to come? People have come for the last 3 years. Like, you guys have been around for this long, but like none of that matters to me. All that matters to me is that this next thing, I need to see if people are still fucking with us.
Yeah.
I need to see if this is still something that people want to come to or do, you know? And it's like, it just highlights your insecurities like with a fucking magnifying glass, dude. Yeah. It's just such a crazy feeling, you know?
It is. Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
okay, so like, say if you go on vacation or you go somewhere and you're with your girl or anybody, and then like say you go to a I don't know, say you go to a bar or something. Like, do you count and you be like, oh my gosh, this place is it's packed. I wonder how much money they make, or do you count people in there? Or
Dude, it's not only that. Like last night, does your wife watch like the makeup community?
She watches like little different things and stuff like that.
Okay, well, there's this makeup guy. His name is Jeffree Star. Are you familiar with him?
Yeah, I know Jeffree Star.
So Jeffree Star, he's been around forever, dude, since like MySpace days, just branding himself, and now he's got like a successful makeup business.
Yeah.
And I've always seen him because my wife, she'll watch his shows, or he's involved somehow or some drama or whatever. So yesterday, he's doing a documentary with this guy, Shane Dawson. Do you know who Shane Dawson is?
Yeah.
Okay, so Shane Dawson, he's doing the documentary with Jeffree Star. And basically what it is Shane Dawson, he's going to come out with his own palette.
Yeah.
So he's going through Jeffree. And as I'm watching this whole thing, you would think like, why the hell are you watching a makeup show? It's basically business 101 of how everything's breaking down. This dude Jeffree has his own facility that he makes merch, makeup, or whatever for other influencers, and they're talking about the splits and how much stuff costs, like before, just from the manufacturer, and what has to go through to get to the end user. And dude, I was like super fascinated on it, man.
See, that's why I asked you this question. You have the sickness.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, you have it. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not bad, and it's not good.
Yeah.
But you have a sickness. Like, your mind is programmed already. Like, you could be on vacation or something, and you're already counting. Like, dang, that's like, oh, this person made so much money. Like,
someone's killing it.
This guy's killing. You're already analyzing. Like, oh, 100 people went in there at $10. Man.
Yep.
And then your wife or whoever's in there just going and enjoying herself, and you're thinking numbers in your head. Mm-hmm. It's a sickness.
It definitely is, dude. It's
but you don't realize it. But you're just like thinking about it because you're an entrepreneur, and you're like, man, I could do this. You analyze everything, just like she was probably watching that same thing, not even thinking of it like that.
It's funny because I told her we're watching, and I tell her, would you ever want to have your own business? And she's like, yeah, I would, but it's just, I don't know if I would be as into it because I see what you go through, and it's kind of, I enjoy my time outside of work. And I'm just like, fuck, I know, like, I'm jealous of that sometimes. When you're off of work, you clock out and that's it. And that's the benefit of somebody who works for somebody else. And that's something that entrepreneurs don't have. And that's something that, like, damn, that's one thing that I really miss, dude, because I never leave this. Yeah. I'll go home and check my DMs at 10 at night. And, hey, man, I just got my package and it's the wrong color. And as soon as that comes in, I'm like, fuck, dude.
You're back into the mode. It's like you can't. It's like, and it's like you could never relax. Like even when I go on vacations, I'm still thinking of stuff. And it's hard. And that hurts your relationship. Because you're with a person that can wind down and you can never wind down. And it's hard. Like it's really hard. It's like you want to give your all to your other person, but and you try, but like. You can't sometimes because you're just going in circles of things. Like you analyze every little thing, because like you're an entrepreneur, like you're into business. You're not just a person that goes in and clocks out. You're always on the clock. You're always thinking, and that's why I call it a sickness, because you can't help it. You can't not stop thinking about doing this, and people just say, it's not about the money, because look at all these people that own Apple and Elon Musk, and you think he stopped after Tesla? He has enough money. He doesn't do it for the money. Yeah, he does it because he can't stop. He's thinking of the next thing, and he has to accomplish something to make himself feel better, because it's not going to stop. He doesn't do it for the money. He's reached a peak where it's not even for the money anymore.
Money doesn't even matter.
It doesn't matter. It's just a chase and the thrill. It's like a person going for roller coasters. You survive off of it. Like you're always going to be thinking like that. And that's why I call it a sickness.
Damn, I never heard it put like that, but it's completely true, man, because I've reached a point, and I'm sure you have, where you have enough finances to cover everything. You have everything that you've ever wanted, but before I would have thought that, okay, once I have that, then I'm going to be completely happy. But now I have to figure out what makes me happy and what I enjoy to do, you know? And that's something that I think a lot of people never have to figure that out, because their idea is always like, okay, when I make this money, I'm going to feel like this. But a lot of people never get to that point. So that's still a rainbow to them at the end of the day.
Yeah, and see, you know, I read a lot of entrepreneur books and I do a lot of stuff, and sometimes I think I have a lot of answers and I have all the answers. I don't, and it's part of being an entrepreneur. Like the other day, my wife asked me a serious question. She says, well, "What makes you happy?" And it was silent like this. I don't know. You know, that's why I call it a sickness. Like let me ask you, what makes you happy, friend?
Dude, I was just gonna ask you the same thing, because I'm trying to get ideas.
Exactly.
You know what makes me happy, dude, is minus the family.
Yeah.
Because, you know, when I'm spending time with my family and we're having a good time, my son and I are skating and I feel like a kid, or my wife and I are laughing in the room and no one's around, so we're like our extreme, true, genuine selves. Like, that's happiness, you know. But outside of that, I think the thing that really makes me happy is creating something and having people get pleasure out of my creation.
And in the same here, that's how I feel, you know. But if you try to say that to somebody, that's like, it's not true happiness. Like, you don't have a hobby, or you don't, like, you don't do anything else. What's your hobby? Like, you don't have one. Like, I mean, that's a part of a sickness. I mean, I think that's just what it is. Like, your ideas and stuff become so much. That's what, you know, fulfilling, you know, what's in your head. That makes you happy, you know.
You know what's crazy is that I used to be very materialistic, you know, and I would just think like, when I get that car, I'm gonna feel like this. Even with the M, I got the M, and dude, the feeling that I had for like a few months, it was just dope. But that just wear it off, and I know that that's gonna happen when I get my dream car. And now it just makes it kind of not even a dream anymore. I'm kind of like over it before I even get it.
Yeah.
Because I know what it's going to be. Once I get it, it's going to be that feeling, you know, that euphoric feeling. But after a while, it's just going to taper off. So my happiness is within creating. But creating is just such a broad thing. It's not like, okay, what are you going to create? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do that's gonna make me happy.
And that's a sickness. It keeps you keep going. Your mind, you don't know. You have to go until you hit that, you know. Like, and I'm not materialistic. I used to be like a lot of things, and, you know, same thing. Like, after a while, you get something and it's like nothing to you, you know. Like, you could go and, you know, sometimes, like, you know, like some people, like, I had some Yeezys and I spent money on some Yeezys, and after a while I was like, all into I'm only gonna wear on weekends, and then I'm like, fuck it, I'm wearing them to work.
Yeah,
because it doesn't matter anymore. Like, you know, so I didn't. It's not like. And like, yeah, I'll still buy stuff because I like the things, but it's not going to make me feel happy. It's just the chase that, like, hey, my ideas that I had worked, so I'm able to get this.
Yeah.
You know, not like, oh, I got the car and I'm happy, and no, because if next time I'm gonna get tired of the car. It's the fact that my ideas worked and I'm able to get that. Like, the same thing is, like, I worked hard and I got a barbershop. I'm able to buy my wife this. I'm able to take my son here. That kind of makes me happy. Not the fact that I'm buying the actual thing, the fact that I'm able to.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because some people aren't able to. So I bust because some people are working at your 9-to-5 jobs and putting in a bunch of effort and getting a little bit of money, but they're not able to do those things. So it's like, it's dope having the feeling that you created something yourself that you know, no one can, you know, sit there and take from you. You did that yourself, your own work. You work for yourself, and you're able to do and buy what you want. And if you work hard enough, you can get it. Not like some guy's telling you only can work 40 hours and I'm only going to pay you this. Like, the more work you put in, the more you can go up here. Not like you're just going to go like this, you know?
Yeah.
So that's more of the chase and the sickness, is because you keep going and going and going, and because you're an entrepreneur and you have potential. And that's why, you know, that's why I use the word sickness. I mean, I don't want to say the word sickness, but that's why it feels sometimes, because it drives you to a point where other things in your life, they lack and damage, you know, your family, you know, your friends, because you're focused. You know, and it's hard for you to focus on other things and enjoy yourself, because your mind is just going in circles of different things and different ideas. Sometimes you don't sleep. Sometimes you someone's talking to you and you're in mid conversation and you're like, oh, I thought of an idea right now, and you're just bullshitting with them because you're thinking of the idea that you just thought of, like, I could have a conversation with you right now and we're just talking about life, and next thing you know, like, oh, I should put this person on my podcast. In the middle of conversation, you're talking to that person because that's how you're wired to think. You're just so over the place, and it's I can't multitask for anything because my I just go crazy at times, because I'm just thinking of different stuff. There's always something I could have done or should do, or the thing I want to do next, and it's hard, and the only reason I bring it up is because I feel like you're at that same point, and I know you are because what we're doing right now, it just proves it. You got the bolts, and then now you want to do skates, and now you want to do that because you're going crazy. It's not enough for you.
Yeah.
The same thing with how you said, like, oh, the same thing about the hundreds. It goes down to that. You can't just do the same thing and be able to survive,
Yeah, dude. You're so right, bro. It's like Downstar is taking care of the bills, is taking care of the day-to-day kind of things, but at the end of the day, it's not bringing me the same joy that it was in the past, because the joy that I was getting from the past was the uncertainty. Like, what can this be? How high or how big can I make this? And it's gotten to the point where it's very well established, and not saying that it can't get any bigger, but it's gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, this isn't the feeling that I thought I would have when I reached this point. And it has nothing to do with the community. It has nothing to do with the product, the business, any of that. It's within me. It's something that I'm trying to find what really makes me happy. What made me happy, like skateboarding made me happy when I was a kid. What cars made me happy for so long. What's the thing that makes me happy? And I think that that's why I'm kind of addicted to doing these podcasts, because this is something that makes me happy.
But it's I don't think it's wrong. It's just you can't help it. Like look at Kobe Bryant. He's a prime example. Played basketball. All he knew was just put in a bunch of hours to play basketball, bunch of hours, and make a bunch of money. When he got out of basketball, fuck basketball, right? What's he do? He opens a camp. He's like, oh, I want to do movies, and then he works so hard to put this movie. He wins an award, and everyone's like, why can't you go back to basketball? Now I could try to do different things. He's still going and doing the same thing. He's doing all the stuff he used basketball to fund the stuff that he wanted to do. Now he's over it. That's another chapter. Like, he still uses his name in basketball to fund the things that he wants, but now he's doing the same stuff, and he's applying his same work ethic to that. Like, he just won an award, like the first basketball player to win an award for, like, I think it was like an animation.
Yeah.
And people are like, how did he? Because he applied the same stuff, because he's an entrepreneur and he's going crazy, and he worked hard to do that, and he wants to reach those goals. And does he have to? He has a bunch of money. Why is he doing it? He's not doing it for the money.
Yeah.
He can't help it.
I think that's the hardest part for people to even realize, and when you say that, it kind of makes people feel a certain kind of way. Yeah. And I don't know if it's even something that I would want people really to feel, because it's like a really lonely feeling to have, to knowing that you spent the last however long of your life focused on this thing and still have to keep reinventing yourself or find something that makes you happy. It's crazy, bro. I tell my guy Alex that I work with, I tell him, like, dude, being a business owner is kind of one of the most loneliest things that I've ever done.
It is. And I felt like I had way more friends, and I had more people to talk to and hang out with, and people to trust when I didn't have a business. You still have your friends and stuff like that, but it's not the same. Like, because you spend so much time here, you spend so much time on your ideas, you spend so much time balancing, and then you go with your family, and then you have to make sure you give them your time and they don't lack, and you feel guilty for doing certain things because like it's not all it. I wouldn't trade it for anything, but it does come with its downsides.
Yeah.
You feel guilty, you feel lonely at times, and because that's why I refer to it as a sickness, because you can't stop, and you can't help it. Like, and it's not like a bad sickness where you need to go to rehab or nothing. No, because some people, you know, you have a gift and you just can't help it. Like some people are just geniuses. Like, and I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs are geniuses and they just can't help their thoughts and keep going. You know, like it's like Gary Vee. Like Gary Vee he's the prime example. Like he thinks so much, he has to. Every moment is recorded. Like he has to get his thoughts out and just boom. He just says whatever he says because his mind is crazy. He just has to keep going. Like he started off with wine, now he does podcasts, and now he does this, and now he's like, you know, I have a bunch of money. My goal is to own the jets. Knowing that's a crazy fucking goal, but that's gonna keep him going in life.
Do you feel like he put such a large goal on himself so he could put that so far away that he'll have to delay that realization once he gets it?
No, I feel like he put that goal there to keep him going and to keep him busy so he won't go crazy, where he's just like, I made it and I'm done. He doesn't know what to do with himself, so he has to keep going and say to go to a bigger thing, like how you're doing. Like right now, this is the bolts, and then you keep going to do this and do this and this, and then what's your biggest picture?
Yeah,
there's always a means to the end. Like everyone says, like, oh, I'll stop when I do this. Like, so what is your I'll stop when I get this, or what I'll stop when I do this?
Shit, I don't even know, dog.
Exactly. You have a sickness. Like it's the same thing with me. Like I say that too. I say like, oh, you know, I'll stop when I get this, and you know, and I think really in my head, you know, what will I? You know, like will I, if I say like I want to buy a vacation home and then I want to have 5 or 6 different businesses and stuff like that, and where I just can just chill. But are you really gonna chill? Are you gonna be bored, or say like, if I go live in a different country, am I gonna start like a tiny little bar because I'm bored, or start a little stand?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. I think that's why I call it a sickness, is because you just don't know how to keep going and stuff like that. And that's what separates entrepreneurs by regular people, because we have this thing that we can't control. And only to keep it, you know, in check at times is to keep striving and doing these things, or else you'll go crazy, because we're trying to reach this happiness to fulfill our thoughts in our head, our dreams and our goals, and people just think it's just money. It's like, it's not about the money, because once you achieve the money, people are still chasing. Like I just named a bunch of people who have all the money in the world and they're still doing shit. Like why are they still doing shit? They can't stop.
Yeah.
Look at LeBron James. What is he doing while he's playing basketball? Making movies. He has sneakers. He has a sports agency. Like he has a show coming out. Like he can't stop. He's more than just a basketball player, and you're more than just making bolts.
Yeah.
And you know that in your head.
Damn, that's so crazy, dude. I never thought of it, but while you're saying that, I'm just thinking about everybody that I look up to, and just the successful people. And you're right, dude. You would think that they've reached a pinnacle where they're never going to run out of money unless they spend it ridiculously. Mm-hmm. You know, but if you just live in a certain size means, like, not every year you're buying a new Bugatti or whatever, you know. The perfect example would be like Floyd Mayweather. You know, it's like, you would think that he would be on the top of the world. He has so much money, but every time I see him, he just looks lonely, and I understand that look that he has. I can read that, and it's just like, because it's crazy, man. Everybody is on their own mission, and
exactly. So he's got all this money. He feels on the top, but that's why he acts the way he does. That's why he throws money out there to make it so hey, I'm happy. He's not happy. I have 13 different. He just gets all the stuff because he has all this money, but he's truly not happy. If someone has to tell you that they're happy, they're not happy. You know what I'm saying? That's like someone telling you, I'm the best. If you're the best, you shouldn't tell me you're the best. I should know you're the best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Floyd, he always has to, I'm happy. Look at this. My life is lovely. He's not even smiling when he's doing it.
You're fucking right.
He's smiling when he's throwing money. He's serious doing this. Like he's not happy because he's gone and he's reaching and he keeps doing things, and that's why he didn't. You know, I might come back for another fight. He's bored. He opens up a strip club. You know, like, why do you need to open a strip club if you need so much money? That's only because he's bored. He has to try and do these things to keep his ego going. And to lie to himself that he's happy, but he's not happy. Like money, you know, money can buy you. Money doesn't buy you happiness, but it does buy things to keep you in check and control, like to keep you going. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think goals are what people they strive for. I think goals make you happy. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily the things, being able to achieve the things that, hey, I stuck to this plan and I got it. So I can't really say there like I'm gonna be like, oh, I buy this car, I'm gonna be happy. Like, yeah, I'm happy that I got the car, but I'm happy that I stuck to something, I achieved that, you know. And that's a satisfaction, not necessarily numbers. The point of I can, you know, that and that's why I call it, it's a sickness. It's like, you know, you just keep going and going and going and going and going, you know. It's a means to an end. Like, I mean, what you think you can't even answer some of the questions I'm telling you because you have the same thing I have. Like,
yeah.
It's just hard. You don't know, you know, like, you know, yes, you're happy, but are you like truly happy? Is like, no, because you have so many things you want to do, you know, like your wife and your kids, you know, they make you happy, you know, but like, are they happy? Are you giving your all to them? I guarantee you're not, because you can't.
Yeah.
You know, and it takes a, you know, and with my relationship, it's hard because it takes a strong person to realize that. Like on the other side, like I'm sure your girl is really strong to sit there and she understands, you know, but it's hard for her to understand because she's not wired like me and you are. And my wife isn't, you know, she has her own stuff and she's an entrepreneur, but she can turn it off.
Yeah.
We can't.
Does it cause conflict between you guys?
All the time it does, you know, and I mean, and you know, I talk to other entrepreneurs and they have the same thing, you know, and it's hard, you know, like, you know, just like you're like, oh yeah, you understand, and it causes conflict, you know, and like, because you know you're opposite, you know, and it's hard, and like, you can't get mad at her for not understanding, you know, because she's not wired the same, and I can't be mad at her for not understanding because yeah, it is crazy. I am crazy.
Oh shit. I love it, bro. It's true, man. Sometimes I feel fucking crazy, bro. I feel crazy for just thinking about things the way that I do, not being happy with things that I should be happy with. Mm-hmm. It's just fucking nuts, dude. And it's I guess that's where they say like ignorance is bliss. You know, sometimes I'll look at people that don't really have that many ambitions or goals, and I see how happy they are, and like I know I wouldn't be happy in that situation, but I wouldn't be happy because of the way that I think about things. But what if I thought about things the way that they think about things? Yeah. Shit, you know, sometimes I see some people that maybe they don't have a job, they have a part-time job, and they're just out hanging out with friends all the time at the beach or whatever, and I'm just like, damn, that might be pretty dope to do. Yeah. But that's like, in my brain now, that's a waste of time. But if I thought about things differently,
yeah, it wouldn't be.
Yeah, but then on the other side of things, you don't know how happy those people really are at the end of the day too, and it could be that it's perceived happiness, but they could be covering it up with all of this, you know, quote unquote fun, because they realize to themselves that they don't have the confidence to reach the next level or something, and they're looking up to people like us.
And the level is a good word. I feel like life is a game, you know, and we're just keep playing and thinking of a new cheat code to just get up to that next level, you know. And then once we get to another level, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna stay at this level. I think I can go a little bit higher, mm-hmm. and that's the sickness where we can't. We're like, you know, it's like you beat the game already. And you beat the game on easy. Can you want to play it on medium? No, okay, I beat it on medium. Can I go on expert? Oh, can I go on this? Like, you just keep going, you know. And it's like, dude, you beat the game, or people are telling you beat the game already. No, I didn't. I have to keep challenging myself, and that's the hard part. And that's why I say it's a sickness, and it's finding balance and doing it. And once you got spiraled into that life, it's hard to stop. You like. I sometimes I'm like, fuck, you know, like I'm you know, I think, and I'm like, yeah, I'm blessed, you know, my wife is blessed, I have all this, I love her, but you know, I don't show much attention because you know, I can't help it, you know, or I don't, you know, my son or my daughter suffers a little bit because, you know, I don't have that attention, you know, but it's hard to give, you know, all that attention and stuff like that, and it's just, you're just spiraling, and it's like, okay, I want this for her, or I want this for my wife, or I want this for my son, or let me get right here. If I get to this point, we could do this, or if I get to this point, they'll be happy with this. And sometimes it's like it's not, you know, you got to kind of sit back and tell yourself, you know, they might not be happy, they just might be happy with your time,
with just you.
Yeah, you know, and that's why I say it's a sickness. It's hard, like it's really hard trying to figure out the balance. Like I don't know few people who have, you know, and they sit there and tell you like, oh yeah, I do this to have you, you know, they could be lying, but if they know the secret formula, tell me.
Yeah.
You know, tell me the secret formula, because I would like to know it, because you know, the secret formula is not just saying like, okay, go spend time with the secret formula is finding a balance, saying like you give enough to them and you're still fulfilling what you're doing. You know, and it's hard to do that because you're just going, like, just like you say, you can't. That's why I asked you that question, because you can't even go to a place without counting money and enjoying yourself, because you're already thinking like, you might be like having fun, but you're like, damn, they just made, this is a good business, or damn, they just like, they made this at the door, or damn, they're robbing me.
Yeah.
You know, just like you were analyzing Jeffree Star's thing, and you're probably thinking in your head like, dude, if this dude didn't rely on Jeffree Star and just did what Jeffree Star did instead of using him in middleman, and he would have made more money, we can cut him out.
Yeah.
That's how entrepreneurs think. But the lazy person is just like, let me use Jeffree right now, not knowing Jeffree is doing everything and sourcing everything himself, and he's just milking you because you don't have the right mind state and to source those things yourself. You know?
Yeah.
But that's how we think, you know. That's always how we think.
Have you found anything that helps you out?
Like,
you know, calm down, live life in the moment, and just take a breath.
My wife nagging at me.
Yeah,
that's the only person that could try to calm me down and bring me back to reality. But anybody else, no. They tell me certain things, but it's kind of like how you can't tell me anything. Like, you don't know what's going on in my head.
How do you turn off at night?
I just try to like not think of anything, but there's times where I don't think of anything, and there's times I think of a bunch of stuff. You know, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'm thinking of something, or I have an idea, and then like I go tell her or I tell somebody else, and then next thing you know, I'm researching, and then all right, it's a bad idea.
Yeah. Then
I go on to the next one, or I have on my phone different ideas, like a whole list of things, and I research, and then it goes like, at the time it sounds good, but being an entrepreneur, you research and you think if it's gonna be worth the risk, and you know, you figure out if it's worth it, because that's what you do. You analyze. You're always analyzing. Like that's why I say it's a sickness. You're like a computer in your head, and it's hard to be. And does a computer have feelings? No, it doesn't. So how is a person going to try to make a computer have feelings? You know, it's like sitting there trying to it's like being the Terminator. The Terminator didn't have any feelings, you know. In the movie, like they were trying to like, hey, he's programmed a certain way, and we're programmed, you know. So how do you turn that off? I don't know if you can. You just got to try to find a balance. You know, you figure it out, and someone can't give a right remedy because they don't know what's going on in your head, and they don't have the same views and ideas, and it's hard, you know. So I think maybe in the career you have to reach, I think, like a sweet spot where where like say Downstar is doing so well, like you just do things for the fuck of it. And I feel like that's where Kobe and, you know, Elon Musk and you know people that own these big companies, that's what they do. They have enough money where now they just do things for the fuck of it. And I feel like me and you feel like we're not at that point. And that's why we go crazy. Yeah. You know, because we're not at that point. So we continue to chase and we fuck up the balance, because there is no balance, because you can't stop what's going on in your head and strive to be great, you know, and sit back and appreciate the now when you're always thinking about the future.
So how long have you been having these sort of feelings for, where it's like a life-changing kind of mentality?
It's always been like that. I feel like I've always been an entrepreneur, because I thought like maybe it was when I owned a business, but then I go back and I'm thinking like, no, because if I started selling drugs, I had my own business. Mm-hmm. If I went to work and then I still sell drugs on the side, it's the same mind state. The only thing is one is legal and one is not. Yeah. And I tell people all the time that are drug dealers, and I try to explain to them, if you're over here and you're not going to parties, or you're doing this, or you're going and you're spending all this time selling drugs, how many hours are you putting in? If you applied that to a real business, do you think your business would be doing good? Yeah. Exactly. So you can go legit if you wanted to because you have the business mind state. You can't be a part-time drug dealer and be successful. So you're putting your energy into the wrong things.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to succeed. I'm thinking like if I put that same energy into other things, I could go legit. And now I can't stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it's hard for you to stop, you know?
So at this time, present day, how many people within like a week, how many people that would you spend time with that you didn't have to, like it didn't involve work or anything, like how much time do you spend with friends, and how many friends do you really have?
Not many, to be honest. I mean, like I have friends and acquaintances, but like, I mean, I have friends, and I had a lot of friends that were, you know, really good friends, and I say maybe the sickness has pushed them away.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I have friends, and I, you know, like I can go to people I turn to, but there's no consistency. The only consistency is my family and work. You know,
that's fucking crazy, man. I feel you, dog.
And a lot of people, and then people don't understand, and that's why I feel you when you say it's lonely. Yeah, it's lonely because you have that we have this sickness. Like we want to have friends, but it's like sometimes you're like sitting there and spending time and drinking, and it's like this is a fucking waste of time. You know, or like every let's go out, let's go to happy hour, and it's like, what are you celebrating?
Yeah.
What have you accomplished?
Do you have friends that make you feel guilty?
I have a lot of friends. I have coworkers that tell me, and they're like, oh, you know, you're tired. They'll think like, oh, you know, your girl doesn't let you go out. No, it doesn't. She tells me to go out, just like you guys tell me to go out. It's just like, it's hard for me to enjoy everything because it's just. I don't know. It's just like I felt like I haven't accomplished a lot, you know. So it's like hard for me to chill and wind down. So every once in a while I'll go and sometimes, you know, and that's when sometimes I get in trouble, like with my wife or something, because when I do go out, I'll do the most because I don't do everything every day.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, well, why do you have to do this? And it's like, I don't do these things all the time. So, you know, like, why do you have to go out or do this? I don't. So
yeah.
might as well, I have to make the best of it. And that's where balance comes in.
Do you ever feel like you're too hard on yourself?
Yeah, I do. But yeah, there's a lot of times I feel like I'm too hard because I don't know. I feel like I look at other people. I don't necessarily say I look down on other people, but I feel like I could be great. You know, I feel the same thing. Like I look at you and I feel like, you know, you could be great. You wouldn't be at the position you're at and want to do podcasts and want to do this because you feel like you're more than just a person working a 9 to 5. And that's how I feel. I'm more. So I feel like why waste my talent?
Yeah.
Why waste these thoughts? Why don't I put them in action, you know? So the only thing is us doing it and putting it in action will get us in trouble with having friends, family, and a social life. It's like we gave up the social life to complete all those things, you know, and that's the never-ending chase, you know? So at the end of the chase, would you start losing friends? Would you lose your wife? Would you lose your kids into the chase? So that's the thing you have to worry about in the stress. So that's why when people tell you, like, Frank, you're lucky, or Brandon, you're lucky. Oh, they don't know what we go through daily. You don't know, like you don't know what we go through, what we're thinking, like, or how we're staying up at night, how many arguments we have with different people, or how many arguments you have with your wife, how many birthday parties or social events you miss. It's a lot. It comes with it. It's not all glitz and glamour like they think. They just think that, oh, you own a business, you make money, you could buy the car. What, you don't know what the fuck I did to get the car. You don't know what fucking argument I had or disappointment I did with the kid because I didn't go, you know, take him somewhere. And it's not because I didn't want to. It's like it's just a sickness, I feel.
Have you felt that there's that it's ever slowed down, or it's just gotten worse over time?
I think I have my ups and downs. I think, you know, maybe it could have gotten worse. And there's times where I just, you know, like now, like, you know, I'm like my aftershave company. I'm not pushing it as much as I should be pushing it. I just kind of just took it a toll, kind of like to reevaluate, you know, family and stuff like that. You know, taking the time because I could see an effect right now. So that there are times, you know, because it's like I only know I only know 100.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I say the struggle to find a balance. Maybe I need to be at 80 or 75 instead of being at 100. So I give that 25% to the things I need to, and then still be able to be efficient and do what I can, you know. So once I get into something like I'm all in, and I think that's the problem, trying to find a balance. And I wish I could just do it overnight, but it's hard, you know.
Does haircutting still bring you joy?
I don't think so. Like, I like to do, like, I mean, I'm in the middle, because like I say that, and then I'm like, I'll do other things, but then, you know, when I have my bad days, but then I have my good days talking to people and having my you know, my customers come in and talk to them, and you build relationships. Mm-hmm. It's kind of hard, like, you'll miss that, you know, like, to go back, just like, you know, you have your relationships with the bolts, and it's kind of like, you know, you going to, you know, Honda days and, mm-hmm. you know, the iBox stuff and stuff like that, and, you know, you say, like, I don't want to do this, but are you going to miss those relationships you had there?
I always think about that every year. I think I'm going to dial it down. But once I start going to these events, you realize, like, why you started doing it in the first place. Mm-hmm. All these relationships you've made. Every time I go on these trips, I tell my buddies that I go with it, it's like a new chapter in the book. And literally every time, if we were to write down the whole event from the weekend or whatever, it would literally be a book. Because you're right, because most of the time I don't do fun shit. You know, I don't do things where I don't have to be on. You know, so once the show's done, we're out having fun, you know, smoking, eating dinner, laughing or whatever. And I'm just like, damn, I think that's where I find the happiness at, is just experiencing things that people will just look over and not appreciate. And what I always like to tell people too is like, the joy that I got when I would get maybe like a new set of rims for my car. Yeah. I don't know if I'll ever feel that same joy at that level again. Yeah. Does that make sense? Because like that was such an enormous portion of my finances or whatever went to this, and I got in. I worked so hard to get in, that joy like lasted so much longer than any sort of material object that I'll buy now. That's why I get so afraid of even just buying like my dream car, you know, because I get it and then I'm just like, oh shit, this didn't even last for as long as I thought it would last for. So I tell people that are at that position right now, like, don't look at, oh, I can't wait till I get this, I'm going to feel like this. Like, appreciate what you got at that time. If it is something as small as like a new stereo, a new steering wheel, or whatever car part it would be, like that joy that you're going to get, it's going to be so hard to replicate that feeling later on down the line when you're more successful, because you have to do things that are even bigger. So do you feel like that you have to accomplish a way larger goal in order to feel the same way that you did when the Re-Up opened at the beginning? Yeah,
and I feel like it has to keep going, and it's like not necessarily being materialistic, but you get a high when you get something, you know, like just like I was super like ecstatic, and when I got my own, you know, business, and it was going great, and people were giving you compliments, and then you get comfortable, and it's like, that's an old toy now. Yeah, time to find a new toy, you know. Same thing, like, you know, when my wife, you know, she got her own business, and I was so excited and proud, and I was like, man, she has her own business, her thing's going good, and, you know, people are giving her compliments, and it's like I got high off of it. Mm-hmm. Like, I liked it. I was like, man, like that's dope. Like, she feels the same, but she doesn't get as high as I get off of it, you know. But and it wasn't my business, it's all hers, but it was dope for her to have something, and I felt good. It's like, man, because not everybody's doing it, and not people can sustain that. Not everybody can be a Downstar. Yeah. Not everybody could be a Re-Up. Not everybody could be a Purps Aftershave. So it made us feel like we were unique, or, you know, like, you know, there's other people that do something, but like it's an accomplishment. So it's like, I don't really see things as materialistic. I feel it as accomplishment, so it's on to the next thing, you know. So like, even when, you know, my other friends get businesses, I'm not happy. I'm not like jealous or anything. Like I feel like that's dope. You know, like I don't care if anybody makes it. Like I want everybody to make it. Like, but I'm always gonna focus on, you know, what's gonna get me off and get me high, and keep going with my goals. You know, and wish, you know my friends to do good. You know, like when you had stuff, like I was like, damn, that's dope. I mean, I didn't be like, fuck Frank, man. Yeah. Like he's doing the bolts. You know, I just thought of like, oh, Frank got this, man. I wish I thought of an idea like that. That's dope. You know, like
thank you, man.
That's how I feel. You know, like, and then I'm like, and it motivates me. You know, like it motivated me a lot. Like even like, for example, like my wife was always doing, you know, her like 9-to-5 thing, and she got a business, and I struggled with cutting hair. It took me a little while to get good. She started doing her things, and boom, she picked up on it. I didn't get jealous. I was like, damn, that's dope. You know, like she has like way more potential than I did. You know, yeah. I feel like I feel like I'm not talented. I'm a hard worker. I'm where I'm at because I'm a hard worker. I felt like, you know, she just picked it up because she's talented and she's natural, and she surpassed me in a smaller frame. You know, like it took me a while to get where she was at, and then she's there and she's comfortable and she's cool, and she could turn it off, you know, and you know, like, and I can't. You know, I still strive and I keep going, and because I don't have those gifts, I don't feel like I'm naturally gifted at everything. I think I'm just gifted at ideas and trying to execute and working hard. I think that's my gift, and that's all I know.
Do you feel like you're pushing trying to push the goalposts as far as you can? Because if you stop working hard, then things are just gonna slow down for you.
Yeah, I feel like bills will pile up. I feel like I'll be even more unhappy. I feel like if I slow down, I'll get comfortable. I feel like I'll be stuck. I'll be in another, or I'll just be like another person. And I think that's the problem. I just don't want to be like somebody else. I feel like I'm more than that. I don't want to live my life later on and having regrets of like, I could have been this, I should have been this, you know. I feel like at least I tried, you know. That's my thing. At least I tried. An effort. Like I keep having an effort. I don't want to keep just being like, oh, you owned a barber shop and you was a great barber. Like when I die, that's all they're gonna say.
Yeah.
Like does that make you feel good when you're dead and they just tell you, you know, you're just another barber? Or it's like, dang, Frank, I remember Frank, he opened up, you know, this business and he did this and this, you know. That doesn't, you know, that feels like you tried and you fulfilled your life. That doesn't feel, it didn't feel like you lived with regrets. It felt like you tried.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to do. I want to feel like I tried. I want to get the most of life. I don't want to be like, you know, like I want to travel the world. I want to say like I didn't travel the world because I didn't try. Like I want to travel, so like I'm gonna use this and you know, like hopefully when I'm 40 or something, I'll be able to enjoy myself and travel and see different things. I don't mind goals and necessarily to be a millionaire. I want to be able to do certain things that I can't do, and that's the chase. Being able to do the shit that I want to do, just like Downstar gave you a platform to do what you want to be able to do. If you worked a 9-to-5, you wouldn't be able to be talking to me right now. Yeah, you wouldn't have a skate company if it wasn't for Downstar. Yeah. So this is a vessel for you to do what you want to do, and that's why I'm doing. And that's why, as an entrepreneur, you keep going and going because you're using it to be a vessel to do what you want to do. That's why I brought up Kobe Bryant, because now he's using basketball to do to make movies. Without basketball, he wouldn't be able to do that shit. Same thing with LeBron James. Without basketballs, he couldn't be an agent. He couldn't have another movie and fund this or that or fight for human rights. And they're using their platform just like you need to use your platform. You can't just be comfortable. You gotta go out there and get stuff, because you're gonna live life with regrets. Like, what if you died another day, you know? And then you have another thing too, where you're so consumed of pushing to do these goals, but then like, what if you die today and then you regret not spending so much time with your family? So,
I always think like that, dude.
And that's what I think. And you know, my wife brings it up, and I think about it, and sometimes it haunts me and different things like that. And that's why I try to explain to people being an entrepreneur isn't all glamour and glitz. Yeah. Because you live with those certain things. You know, like you want to live with not having regrets of doing which what you're capable of doing, and then you don't want to regret missing out on all the other stuff or losing out on things, you know. And to me, that's like always been the hard part of finding balance and doing stuff. And that's why I say it's a sickness, because it drives you crazy.
You know what's crazy, dude, is last year we went to Maui. It was me and my wife and my son. And at that time, we had lost an employee here. So we had our new employee, Alex, and he was fairly new to the business. So for him to run the business while we're in Maui, it was probably like 5 days or something like that. It was really hard, dude, because I'm just like, crazy. Oh, fuck, is this good? So I'm checking up. And this dude, he's on the ball, you know? So it was not as hard as it could have been, but I was still disconnected.
You were.
And I remember getting home, and I would go on live all the time, and someone said, oh, how was vacation? I'm like, oh, it was dope, man. We had a good time. I'm just glad to be back. And not thinking about it, you know, not thinking about how that sounds. But my wife brought it to my attention, and she was pretty upset that I said that, because how does that look from her? It's like, dude, we're in fucking paradise. Exactly. And you just want to get back to work. You not want to be with us. Is that more important? But to me, how I'm thinking about it is like, I need to get back, so I need to put out this fire that is burning right now.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying, the sickness.
Which was like such a terrible way to look at it, dude. And just looking back at it, I felt kind of embarrassed that I even worded it in that way. So this year when we went back, good thing that Alex is way more familiar with the business. I really didn't even have to check in with him. So it took a lot of weight off my shoulders. But you're talking about CBD. You're talking about smoking whenever I can, dude, because it's like I need to turn that shit off. And my wife is starting to realize that it's a sickness. It's not something that I want to do. And whether I word it some way or not, I would rather be with her, spending time with her and my son and having a good time. Yeah. But it's just like, and my brain's just fucking racing. And something that has really helped, I don't know if you use, is the CBD drops. Yeah. And I've been taking those every day for like the last 6 months or so, which have helped take the edge off. Yeah. You know, but it's not fair, man. It's not fair to my family for me to put them in those situations, to make them feel like they're not as important as business, because it's not even about that. It's not like that. It's just like, it's something inside of me. And I don't know if you want to call it anxiety or whatever you want to call it, but it's just like, I always feel like I have a plate that's full, and I'm just trying to juggle this shit and figure out how to make everybody happy. And at the end of the day, if I have any time left, that's to make me happy. Yeah, which sucks, but it's just like, that's what I feel like I'm like a soldier. You know what I mean? I'm gonna make sure everybody else is good, and at the end of the day, I'll take care of myself.
Yeah. And I had that same problem, and that's why I was explaining. And I know, and I could see it. I could see it when I'm talking to you. I could see it, when I interact or when I see you in podcasts. You have the same thing that I have, and it's hard. Like for years, my wife would always tell me, I was like, okay, like I'll go to work and then I come home, right? And then she's like, oh, but you don't spend time with us. I'm like, all I do is spend time with you guys. But she's like, you're disconnected, and I never understood what she meant. And I'm like, what do you mean? And for years I never understood. She's like, you're here but you're not here.
Yeah.
And you're here but you're not here. To a normal person, you would think, oh, like, what does that mean? But then you think about it, no, it is like, I'm there, but my mind is on other shit. I'm sitting on the couch spending time with you, but I'm not devoting. It's not all the time with you. Like, you don't mean to. It's just like all the thoughts in your head. You're thinking of different things. Like, you don't know how to turn it down, and it's hard, And that's why I say it's a sickness, because a lot of shit come with what we have. Like you're talking about, you have to take CBD, for anxiety. Like, I get anxiety too, because I just it's just so much shit. Like, we process shit so different. Like, we analyze shit like a computer, and you have a shutdown. Like you freeze. Like when there's too much information. Even when I argue with my wife or someone, it's a bad argument, I start having anxiety. Like, my heart is racing. Like, I'm thinking so much, you know what I'm saying? Like, because you're a computer, like, you analyze shit, and that's what makes people different from entrepreneurs. Like, they can't analyze stuff and process stuff. They just think so simple, and they're okay of turning things off because they don't have a lot of information coming through their head.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like we process and overanalyze shit, and we think of shit like, and it just keeps going with every situation, and it affects our everyday lives. You know.
Damn, dude, this is such a good convo, bro. It's 8:44. I know you gotta get out of here pretty soon, dude.
I got a couple more.
Okay, cool, man. It's dope because I really haven't connected with somebody like this on this level. Fuck. I can't even think of somebody. You know, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that I get with, and I hear a lot of similar things. But dude, it's like everything you're saying is exactly how I feel.
Because I'm being real. I'm not sitting here telling you all my accomplishments. I'm telling you about the struggle. I'm talking about the journey, and I know that you go through the journey. A lot of people don't want to talk about the journey. They just want to like say, "Oh, my life is so peachy, and I have this and that." Like, fuck that. Just be real. What? Talk about your family. Is your family okay? You're saying like you spent all those hours over here. Are you cool with your girlfriend? Or does your son love you?
Damn.
No, they're not going to sit there and tell you all that. They're not going to tell you about the journey. They're just going to, and that's why people get this misconception of being a business owner and owning and having money, but they don't understand. That's why so many people commit suicide that have money, and people that are like, they're into music and they're like, why do you have all this money? Why'd you commit suicide? Well, they're geniuses. Their stuff is going through their head, and then you think that they accomplished what they accomplished. They want to be more than what they are, and they don't process, and their body shuts down, and that's what happens. You know, people. You know, the smartest people in the world are crazy. So you have to sit there and accept you're crazy, and you have to have a person that's willing to to accept you're crazy, or to move on. But it affects your everyday life, and you can cover it up and act like it's not, but it has to be. Like, I use example for Gary Vee. You think there's a woman right out there for Gary Vee that can handle Gary Vee?
I don't even think he can handle himself.
Exactly. And what sane person can walk and do a podcast every hour, document every hour, go on here, do a vlog of this? He's just using that for an outlet. He's not using it just to do it because he can't help himself. His brain processes so much information, he just has to spit it out. You know what I'm saying? And you or me may not be like the type of people to process and just spit it out, but and that's why it drives us like how we're going. And maybe the podcast where you just told me, hey, we're going up on a year, and you just told me, oh, I have 100 episodes. We do 2 weeks, and I'm thinking, what the fuck? How the fuck you're doing 2 a week? Why? Because you're crazy. That's why you're crazy. You have a bunch of shit to talk about that you can't get out, and now you want to talk about it with other people that are like-minded. It's therapy.
Fuck, dude. It's therapy. It is, man. And that's why I think that this year, 2019, has been such a pivotal year for me, because I've realized so many things about myself. I've come to so many conclusions of why I did certain things, why I felt certain ways, why I reacted certain ways. And it's just helping me. Okay, now I understand that this is the problem. Now I'm trying to figure out how to create a solution for it. Yeah. And a lot of it is just being able to talk about things, talk about life, and have these experiences and kind of feel human again. Like, this shit, it makes me feel vulnerable. It makes me feel like a human. Yeah. It doesn't make me seem like, oh, the business owner, that guy who has this and this and this and this. No, dude, like, I don't like when people come to me and tell me that shit. Yeah. I like when people come talk to me like I'm on the same level as them. Yeah. And that just talking about life and experiences, I think that this has helped me out a lot.
And when they tell you those things, when they're saying that, you don't feel that way. You feel like you feel like you're just another person because you haven't accomplished what you accomplished. So to them, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so great. But you're like, man, this is nothing. I want to do so much more. That's how I feel every day when someone tells, oh my gosh, you have this or that. To me, that's nothing. I want to accomplish so much. That may be cool for you, but this is just only the beginning for me. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, you went on a trip over here. That was cool. Now it's time for the next trip. Or you went over here. Oh, you got this car. Oh my, you're so, okay, that car was cool 3 months ago. Now it's time for the next car. Like, you evolve and you change your goals and you do anything because you never want to stay the same, and it's a chase, and we keep doing it, and it's hard. Like, some people tell me you don't have friends or you don't have this, and it's, you know, I do have friends, but like every person is not going to be my friend because I can't relate them on the same level, because I feel like I'm crazy and someone's just having a conversation just like, hey, you know, talking, and I'm just like
yeah.
And some people tell me, like, so there's some people that, like, you know, they say certain things, they tell me, hey, you're quiet, you know, you're quiet. It's like, no, I'm not quiet, because I know I can't relate to you on a certain level. I'm only going to say a little bit, you know, and I'm gonna mind my business. But if I open up, and it's going to be like, and then, you know, some people are like, oh, he's quiet, and then I meet another person like, man, he doesn't stop talking. You know, it all depends, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, just like, you know, we're just wired different than everybody, you know. It's like we can't expect to have the same friends because they don't think of it like the way we think, you know. And it hurts, you know, like same thing, you know, with our spouses, because they don't think the way you do. So like, you know, when you ask me, like, I'm blessed to have the spouse that I have because she was understanding, but at the same time I hurt her for the way I am too, you know. I could cause distance, and I can, you know, I can have a disconnect when, you know, when she could be with another person that's just devoted to her, you know. Like, I want to do these things, but I just don't know how to sometimes, you know. And like, is it her fault that I don't know how to? Is it, you know, is it your friend's fault that you don't know how to just sit down and chill and have a good time with them? Like, that's why I call it a sickness.
Yeah, dude, the friends thing is a big one that hit me a lot, because all the friends that I had before the business, I probably have maybe one or two left, you know. And it was a decision that I had to make, that these people were not on the same path as me. They weren't thinking the same way as me, and they didn't appreciate like time as much as I did. So anything that I spent with them, it was not a value to them, and it just kept spreading us further and further apart. But I never thought about things from like their point of view. I don't know how I made them feel, because, you know, guys aren't really good with telling their feelings and how people make them feel. I don't know how I made my friends feel, or even the friends that I still have now. And I hope that with these kind of conversations, they could kind of get a little deeper inside of my mind of what's really going on. And that's why anybody that I have around me now that has stuck around me, I tell them as much as I can that I appreciate them, and I try to show them, because I know it's hard to be a friend of mine.
Yeah. A friend, imagine being your wife.
Yeah. Shout out to Ash, man.
So I mean, you know, that's what I think about, and, you know, that's why, you know, people, you talk to them, and, you know, they acknowledge your accomplishments, but they have no idea about your struggles.
So how many friends do you have, or acquaintances, that think about things the way that you do locally? Anybody you could like vent to or talk about things? Or...
I mean, I have, you know, friends and clients, you know, probably like a handful of people that they're on the same page. But do I hang out with them like all the time? No. But there's every time, you know, they get into a chair or I talk to them, that's what we talk about. Like, you know, like one person off the top is, you know, my friend Jonathan. Like, he has his own construction company and he does really well. And, you know, I see him and he motivates me to keep going and get to that level. And where he's at, like, there's no like jealousy. It's just motivation. You know, I respect him because I know what it took to get to that point. You know, people just look at him and probably, oh, you're lucky. I know that he worked for where he's at, and he sacrificed to get where he's at, you know. So I appreciate the struggle. You know, people don't appreciate your struggle. They just acknowledge your success.
It seems like it's like some kind of vet from some army that never happened.
Yeah. And
when you run into this person, it's just like you just click automatically, because you understand the effort that they're putting into it. That has to be they're losing time somewhere else,
because they speak your language. Like every time I talk to him, he's like, oh, what's up, how's life? And then boom, and jump into like, hey, I'm gonna do this, or I got this, you want to invest in this, or that's how I think.
Yeah.
It's like harder when you go to a bar and then you're like with your friends and just drinking and taking shots and you're just doing this, and you're like, fuck, I got work in the morning, and it's like hard for you to unwind, and they're just like living like there's no tomorrow, and you're always looking into the future. It's like it's hard to connect with somebody like that and be comfortable, because you're constantly thinking. So when you have another entrepreneur and people that are like-minded like you and will keep striving, it's a little bit better because you feel comfortable. You're not comfortable with people who don't think the same as you. Like, and it's no diss to other people like that. Like, I still love, and I got love for everybody, and I'll hang out with you and be cool with you and do stuff like that. I don't have nothing against it. It's just like it's hard for me to click and be, be like uptight. I'm always the uptight person or something like that. But it's no diss to them. It's just like I just got shit going on in my head. You know what I'm saying? Like, and there's times I wind down and I just have to sit there, and I have a good time, but it's not all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's hard for me to just do that every single week. Yeah. It's hard for me to go to happy hour every single week or go out to the bar every single week and be okay with it. Mm-hmm. It's like, you do need to get out, but it's like, I feel like, you have to, entrepreneurs only do stuff in moderation because they can't handle just letting go and just being free and not having any worries. You know what I'm saying?
So earlier you were talking about the kind of high that you would get from maybe accomplishing something. When is the last time that you felt that high, and what was the circumstance?
Probably maybe the aftershave company. When I started, people started, it caught on and it started going good. Maybe the aftershave company. And then before that was probably my wife's business, when she opened her business and she started doing good. Like, cause, that was just like, I mean, it wasn't me, but there was someone close to me. So I got high. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she wins. I felt like I win, it's not like, it's yes, she did all the work, but like, we're together and we're one. So I thought that was dope, like, I don't, other people may not feel that way because, but that's what, got me, I got off on that, like, not really having like a car or doing stuff like that. Just like, damn, this is like an asset. Yeah. Like, she just got a business and it's running and it's doing good, and people like, like her business, and now people go over here and, they want to go over here and rely on her to get a service. And, same way I feel, but because I don't have that joy anymore because I got used to it. So like when she got it, like I felt that again, and then I strive to keep doing that. I keep doing it because that's the high I get. The same thing, like you got a high when the podcast started doing good. Yeah. Hell yeah. When you reached a certain amount of views, or you're like, I got 7,000 followers on IG now, like that's a high, like that's an accomplishment, And to some people they're just like, oh, whatever, but that's what we get off on. And maybe it's weird and it's not for them, but that's why you don't click with those people. Yeah. No, I feel you a lot, man. You're speaking my language, dude. And it's just comforting to hear somebody locally that is going through the same kind of struggles, man. Hopefully in the future we could just throw ideas around to each other. If you ever need to talk about shit, man, you can always hit me up, dude. Yeah, for sure, man. It feels good, man. This has been a very good conversation, dude. You've said a lot of things that I wasn't able to put into words. It's just a way that I feel and a way that I think about things. And I was never able to put it into words either, but like I had to listen to other people and evaluate me and do some self-reflecting, and I'm still doing some self-reflecting right now. That's why you asked me like, oh, how's, the company. I kind of I'm taking a step back, like I'm still selling, but I'm not pushing orders out and then going and trying to get new clients, because right now I'm just reevaluating and I'm just chilling right now, trying to figure shit out. I still have my bread and butter, but I'm just trying to maybe see if I can come close to doing that. Remember that the 70 or 80% instead of doing the 100%. Yeah, balance. Yeah, and that's the hard part.
It definitely is, man. And I'm on that same journey right now. I feel like I've hit a good streak with the podcast, and it's made me feel fulfilled in that aspect of like creating, and that's why I would like to do them twice a week, because twice a week I feel accomplished. I feel like I created something and put this out to the world. And when somebody listens to it and then they tell me their feelings about it, like that makes me feel good. Yeah. It makes me feel like I'm on the right path. And all the time that I get compliments for it, I'll just say, hey, is there anything that you think that we should work on, you know, because I'm always just trying to dial it in, make sure that we're giving you the best that we can.
Seeing that's your sickness, you can't even take it a compliment because you're so like trying to fix your you're trying to fix your project to and when someone's giving you accomplishment, you take it as you want to get some critique and try to fix it and make it better because you're not satisfied
when it was already the best to them as it could have
exactly
been.
But it's not to you because you're your own worst critic. You get in your own way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying, and it's not a bad thing because you're always going to strive. Like you're always going to strive for greatness. You don't and people that I think people that are sit there and accept a compliment all the time and just be like, okay, yeah, I made it. They're not gonna go far because like when you get comfortable, someone's gonna surpass you.
Yeah,
you know, and that's how you fail when you get comfortable. Like there's always someone that's gonna outwork you. There's always someone that's gonna be more talented than you. So you can't sit there and think that you're special. You're not special.
Yeah,
you have to put I'm not special. You're not special. The only way is to keep going and outworking people and. You know, because someone else is going to have an idea and someone else is going to put in more time and someone else is going to be more crazy about something and they're going to surpass you. The only way to stay relevant is to keep it fresh and not be satisfied. Never be satisfied. Always be hungry. You know, and that's a sickness that we have. You know, we're always hungry and want to keep going and stuff like that. We can't even enjoy the now. We're always thinking about the future.
That's dope, man. I really want to do a follow-up on this. I wish we had more time to talk about things, dude, because this was a very awesome conversation. But before we get out of here, let's just kind of go over the barbershop real quick and just tell people where you're at and what you do.
Yeah, I'm Hollow The Barber. I own the Re-Up Barbershop, and we're in North Oxnard. It's been up there for like 5 years. Got like 13 chairs in there. Try to stay relevant. I think it's probably the popular barbershop in Ventura County. I don't want to be like cocky or say other stuff, but I think I've done enough and I've earned enough to be a staple in the barber community and other places because we had a lot of celebrities and stuff and different people come through and they know the shop, you know.
Speaking of that, you're Logic's barber.
Yeah, I cut Logic's hair. That's
dope, man. We actually had Big Pep on here.
Yeah, Big Pep.
Yeah, shout out to him, man. He's hustling too, bro. He's on tour right now.
Yeah, and shout out to my brother. My brother works with Big Pep. He's Logic's bodyguard also.
Is that your brother?
Yeah.
No shit. That's crazy, bro. Everything just went full circle now.
Yeah, that's my brother. My brother was on board first, and Pep was like one of his good friends, and he brought Pep on board, and you know they've been doing it ever since. And you know, and then one day I started. Logic needed a haircut, then I cut his hair, and the rest was history. But I mean, as you can see, he doesn't get a haircut every day, so. I don't go around telling everybody, "Oh yeah, I'm Logic's barber," but when he needs a haircut, I cut him up.
That's dope, man. Damn, that's crazy. And I just want to tell everybody about the memory that I have of you, dude. I remember being at Headhunters, and it's when you barely started. Just had to be like 2010, maybe somewhere around there.
Yeah.
You started. You were the new guy. You were taking any walk-ins. And I've watched you grow your career from that point to opening up your own business to having one of the most successful, if not the most successful barbershop in our area, man. And I just want to congratulate you on that, dude. And that's why I knew that you were a different cat, because you took that opportunity that you had and you literally started at the ground where you weren't even having appointments. You were just for walk-ins.
Yeah, and I feel like it was my drive, and I had a strong backbone. Just like I think you give a lot of your success to your girl.
Definitely.
She helped you because she helped you stay grounded. And there was times I wanted to quit, and the person I needed wasn't always a friend. It was my girl, you know, and that's why I stayed with her the longest, because she was always down for me. And it turned out, you know, like, you know, I wouldn't probably have all these things if I didn't have that in place.
I feel the same way, bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it was so you know, there's times, you know, where you need a second voice, or you need a second opinion, or you need something to keep going. And I feel that helps you, you know, like, you know, you people, you know, yes, you did a lot of things yourself, but you know, there's other people that hold your hand and they guided you. And I feel like she was a big part and staple in a lot of stuff that I did.
Good, man. Dude, let's give her a shout out, dude. What's her business and where can they find her at?
Her name's Crystal Harris. Her business is Supreme Beauty in Camarillo.
Sick, man.
And shout out to Ashley.
Maybe we go on a double one of these days, bro.
Let me know.
Hell yeah, dude. So before we get out of here, where can people find you and the shop at?
We're in Oxnard Boulevard, the Vineyard Plaza, and you can find me Hollow The Barber on Instagram, the Re-Up Shop on Instagram, Purps Aftershave on Instagram also, and then www.purpsaftershave.com if you want to get some aftershave.
Dope. Okay, man. We'll have that listed below. Hollow, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it, dude. This convo's been dope, man. And you guys listening, I hope you really take these gems in, man, and understand that it's a grind. Every day is a fucking grind, man. And try to appreciate every day that you can, man. Yes, well, once again, this is Downtime with Downstar, episode 107. We out. Peace. Boom.